There you go. Okay, so I've got quite a lot to go through. I've got some notes, so I am going to have to speak quite quickly. What I will do is at the end of each section, I will pause, and if you guys have any questions about that section, we'll do that. And then at the end, I'll answer any big overriding questions you have. So, how exciting you guys are off to Kenya. I'm incredibly jealous. You guys are going to have an amazing time. The program is incredible. We're partnered with a company, an NGO called Oceans Alive. They set up the first marine protected area in Kenya, which is now a pioneering project that's been copied up and down the coast of East Africa. So it's won awards, it's been all over the African global news. It's a really, really incredible project to be working with. They love having you guys. You guys will have a chance to do some really, really meaningful work with them. So you're in for a treat. So flights, I'll start with flights. You guys are almost all of you are on the same group flight. There's a couple of you I haven't yet had your flight information. So if you can send that through as soon as possible, we'll get that uploaded, get that on the system. But that means because most of you are on that group flight, you can then meet at the airport to all fly together. That's why one reason we set up the WhatsApp, so that you guys can communicate on there. Normally what people do once they're through security, that's when they then meet at, I don't know, Cafe Nero or outside Boots. And then that way you can fly all the way through to Mombasa, where you'll meet our team in Kenya. You've got, as you know, as I'm sure you know, you've got a short layer in Addis Ababa. Not much going on in the airport, there's not much to do. So if you want, make sure you've got some snacky bits or stuff downloaded on your phone, stuff to entertain you. But it's not a very long layover, so you'll be absolutely fine. And then you all, as I'm sure you know again, land in Mombasa at around 11:40. And that's where our team will then meet you outside the airport. There are 3 who are already in Kenya as we speak now. They're flying down together from Nairobi, so you'll meet them there. But the rest of you should all arrive at the same time. If there's anyone here who knows they're on a separate flight, that's totally okay. Just what we will ask is if you land more than an hour or half an hour either side, we'll organise separate transport for you so you guys can get to the base camp. If that is you, don't worry, we'll get in touch with you, we'll figure that out with you. That's fine. And then overall itinerary, so this is quite a broad one. As you know, you signed up, it's marine conservation and community work. Mixed into that is, of course, the safari, and then there's optional add-ons, and then interwoven into all of that is lots of fun and adventure. So overall, Monday to Friday is project time. So you'll be working normally from around 8 to about 4. You'll do something in the morning and something in the afternoon. So it tends to be marine in the afternoon and community in the morning, or it swaps. Whatever works, depends on the tides. You'll do that for the first 2 weeks. You'll have a taster of everything. So you'll try all the different activities, whether it be marine or community. You'll then go on your safari, normally for 4 nights. And then when you come back from your safari in the final 10 days or so, you guys have a lot more freedom. You'll be able to pick and choose. Say you really like the marine conservation, you can then focus on the marine conservation. Or if you really like the community stuff, going to the schools, going into the villages, you can then focus on that. So the last 10 days is much more up to you guys, much more tailored to whatever suits your fancy. I've told you a little bit about Oceans Alive, the kind of stuff you'll be doing with them. You'll be focusing on lots of the coral regeneration, a really, really awesome project. So they're working in a marine protected area, like I said earlier. So this is like a no-take zone. So no one's allowed into the zone other than you guys and the other marine scientists. And you'll be helping to replant the coral reef. So it's amazing what they do is they make these coral tables first, and they plant tiny baby corals on this table. So you'll be going out with 2 brushes, cleaning them, measuring them. They're there for 2 to 3 months, so depending on your timing and what's there, you then get to outplant them. So they then go out into the actual reef where they'll grow into their own coral head. It's a really, really fascinating project. And for anyone that is wanting to go on to marine science or study anything like that at university, it's a really, really great experience. Even if you're not, it's fascinating, it's life-changing, it's powerful, it's incredible. When it then comes to community work, it's a really unique project because Oceans Alive have founded this project with the community. So it's called a community run project. They're in charge. Oceans Alive are just there to support. They bring in the donors, the scientists, you guys, but it's the community who are actually at the forefront, leading the project and making the decisions. So it also weaves a lot into their actual community life and their day-to-day life. With where they are in Kenya, it's a fishing village, it's a traditional fishing village. So for generations and generations, the main source of income is fishing. With the coral reef being awful in an awful state, there is much, much less fish than there used to be 2 or 3 generations ago. So a really, really important part of the project you'll be working on is helping find alternative sources of income. So this might be working with a local women's group. They collect trash, you'll help doing beach cleans, collect trash to generate an income, or you might be working with young children, single mothers. So the the main focus of the community project is to support fathers and to support an alternative source of income. They're feeding into that. A big part of what Oceans Alive do is education. So you guys will go into schools. You might teach local kids more about the environment, more about conservation, some simple English and simple maths, lots of games, lots of stuff like that. And then interwoven into all of this is all the fun stuff. So you're staying in a place called Bahari High, which is gorgeous. It's right on the beach. And right next door is a really nice beach bar. And then just up the road, there's something called Vapingo Ridge, which is a residential estate. Anyone who's into golf, it's the only PGA golf course in East Africa. So it's beautiful, but it also doubles up as an animal sanctuary. So they have giraffes, elands, impalas, all sorts. So it's your own mini safari right on your doorstep. So you'll be spending lots of time there as well, which is gorgeous. You'll get to go on a dhow, which is a traditional Kenyan sailing boat. So you go and sail down at sunset down this creek. I mean, there are so many incredible, beautiful things that you'll be doing day to day in your program as well. So it's a really big mixture. You'll be kept really busy, and some really, really exciting and powerful projects you'll be working on. Does anyone have any questions about that part, the itinerary? No, don't think so. Okay, great. Accommodation. So I briefly touched on it. You'll be staying somewhere called Bahari High, which means Oceans Alive in Swahili. Swahili is one of the national languages of Kenya, along with English. So a lot of people will speak English. Most of our staff will speak really good English. Of course, your leaders, Joseph and Juma, I'll go on to them in a second. They are fluent in English, but English is also one of the national languages. The team at Bahari High, so you have Joseph and Juma. So Joseph is the head of our volunteering project. He's incredible. He is so good with the community and engaging everyone, engaging you guys. He is the beating heart of this project, the volunteer side. He'll take you under his wing. He'll teach you everything he knows. He's lots of fun. He loves dancing, he loves singing. He's a very, very jolly person. So he'll get you up in the mornings, tune you up, feed you, and then take you off on your adventures. And there's also Juma. Juma is Joseph's right-hand man. So he'll be there along with all the activities. He lives in one of the local villages. So he has been there from right at the beginning of the project. There is no one that knows the project better than him. He is incredible. And then they're then supported by a full team at Bahari High, at your accommodation, such as Dolphin. She's the manager, the property manager. So she'll do all your laundry, your washing, all the cleaning, all of those duties. They are all incredible. You will soon know, and we'll speak after your trip. Kenyans are the most friendly, lovely, happy people you will ever meet. And I know it feels weird that you're going to a brand new place and you don't know anyone, and I'm saying all these names and it means nothing. But these people, by the time you leave, will be like your second family. They will take you under their wing. They will love you and care for you and have so much fun with you. You're in such safe hands. They've been doing this for years and years. They've had so many groups. And you are so lucky, and I'm sure you'll agree with me very quickly. Bahari High, your accommodation itself, it's set right on the beach, so some of the rooms are on the cliffs. They look onto the beach, out onto the sea. You've got your own basically private beach at this place. The rooms are made up of really sweet little cottages with 2 to 3 people in each one. Each one is en suite. It has its own bathroom. The way we describe them is rustic. I mean, they're clean, everything works. They're waterproof. I mean, everything you need is there, but it's not going to be 5-star. They are beautiful. It's all part of the charm. You guys, again, you'll come to love it. Not what you're used to, not the luxuries you're used to, but that's all part of the experience. And hopefully you can learn from that and take away from that and how much you do have in the UK. Surrounding areas. So I don't know if anyone here knows Kenya particularly well, but it's about half an hour south of Kilifi. And then probably an hour and a half north of Mombasa. So it's right in the middle of 2 very busy, popular places, but where you are is incredibly isolated. So you are, like I said, you're right next to the community. Other than that, there's not much around you guys. So there's not bars and restaurants and all of that kind of stuff. It's really nice. You're tucked away, secluded in a beautiful, beautiful place. Nearby there is a shop with essentials, so if you need any pharmacy stuff or if you want snacks, stuff like that, there is something nearby, so it's not the end of the world. Okay, and then general admins. So electronics is always a question we get asked. very often. You're in Kenya, there are lots of power cuts, so plan for power cuts, expect the unexpected, you never know. I would recommend everyone takes a good portable charger. So make sure just at most times you do have a portable charger, just to keep your phone charged up in case there is a power cut. There is a generator at camp, so it's not power cut or nothing. The generator though is quite expensive to run, so they will only put it on, say, an hour a day if they need to. In Kenya, it's great, you don't need adapters, so it's UK plugs. I think there's one or two of you coming from America, so you will need to get an adapter that is UK based. Easy to buy, you can get them on Amazon, you can get them basically anywhere. Wi-Fi, there is Wi-Fi, again, a question everyone likes to ask. There is Wi-Fi, it's basic, so you can use WhatsApp, you can send messages, you can use Instagram, but what you can't do is stream. So you won't be able to watch any Netflix whilst you're there. TikTok doesn't really like TikTok, I'm afraid. So it will be simple Wi-Fi, but it works enough. It works as much as you need to. If you want, you can get a Kenyan SIM card. I would recommend most of you do this. The SIM card itself is 100 bob, which is about 30, 40p. And then you buy it and top up data onto it, which is again, very cheap. The data coverage in Kenya is mind-blowingly good. You will have data basically everywhere. And then the other benefits of getting a SIM card is something they call M-Pesa, which means mobile money in Swahili. In many ways, yes, Kenya is a third world country, but in their banking, in their SIM cards, they are light years ahead of us, ahead of everyone. So what they have is these SIM cards, which they do all of their banking with. So once you've got it on your phone, you get it set up. It won't wipe anything of your previous contacts, anything like that, but it's a way to send money. Everyone sends money to each other by using phone numbers. So it will be how you pay for basically everything in Kenya. Most places will take card, the bigger places, but when you go into little markets, if you want to go to a little market stall, they will take this type of money. What your leaders will do is at the airport, they'll get you a SIM card and they'll help you set it up. If you want it, the option's there. I do recommend it. It's easy peasy and it will make your life so much easier. Another thing that we've got on the kit list for electronics is spare phones. Totally up to you. I would recommend taking a spare phone. There's always one person that drops it in the sea, drops it down a toilet, breaks it, smashes it, loses it. It is worth having. If you have, even if it's like an iPhone 7, iPhone 8, whatever it is, it's worth having something just in case. Worst case scenario, someone else can lend you their spare phone, but just if you do have one lying around, I really, really would recommend taking one. Any questions on the electronic sides of admin? No, great. Okay, visa. So all of you now-ish can start applying for visas. Did someone just say something? Was that Zoe?
Yeah, for Alice.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
When you said about like cards and everything, is that, were you talking about cash as well? Or
So
just
you honestly don't need cash. You can get it out once you're out there. There are ATMs the leaders can take you to. But because of this mobile banking app, no one really uses cash. It's not. If you would like to take a small amount with you, you can take Kenyan shillings. That's the currency.
but we don't need to.
You don't need to. Okay. Almost everything will take card. If not, this is what the mobile banking is for. But thank you for reminding, it is a really good point because credit cards, if you are taking cards with you, try and get a card like Revolut or Monzo. These ones don't charge international fees. So if you're with banks like Lloyds or Barclays, sometimes they have an international transaction fee. It's not much. It will range between like 3 and 4%. Maximum will be about 10%. So if you are taking out quite a lot of cash, it's worth having one of the travel cards. And it is also worth, this is just a general rule of thumb when you are traveling, having 2 cards. So in case, worst case scenario, you lose one, you do have a backup card that you can use. That's a very good point. Any other questions? Or not yet? Okay, I'll keep going. Visa. So you can start applying for visas now. The reason we don't say do it straight away is because it's 90 days only. So if you do it too far in advance, it won't link up with your trip. So if you can start applying now, that's fine. You can apply basically anywhere up until about, I would say, latest 48 hours before departure. And it's single entry. This only applies if you're planning on traveling elsewhere and then say you're flying out of Kenya. It's activated from the second that you land in the airport and you go through immigration, you get stamped in, up until the point that you leave. So if you leave after your month-long trip, that's fine, don't worry. It only matters if you then try and come back in again. You then can't. It's single entry, you can only use it once. It's an easier process than it used to be. but it still can be a bit temperamental. So if you do need any help with visas, let us know. We can talk you through it. But it's fairly straightforward. All you need is sent in the documents ready. So with your admin, you were sent a photo of Tilda Bowden's passport, and then any extra documents in there is what you need. Kit list, moving on to the kit list. So it's quite an extensive kit list, but everything is there for a reason. I would say the most important things you need are good quality snorkel. You'll be spending a lot of time in the water. There's nothing worse than a snorkel that leaks or doesn't work. So a good quality snorkel. A brand that I really recommend is a brand called Cressy. I can put that in an email, or if anyone wants to ask again, that's fine. Rash vests, super essential. You guys are coming out of winter, we're all coming out of winter. Our English skin is not built for Kenyan sun. It's almost right bang on the equator. And when you're in the water, the sun rays are much stronger. So a good quality rash vest is essential. That also pairs up with sun cream. Bring so much more sun cream than you think you need. Sun cream out there is so expensive because obviously only tourists buy it. So one sun cream might be 10, 15, 20 pounds for a bottle. So bring lots with you. You will race through it and you do need it. And then the final thing that is super important on the kit list and people always miss is reef shoes. So when you're out snorkeling, a lot of the snorkel work you'll be doing, you'll be walking out to certain places and it will be kind of waist height water. And then say you're coral cleaning, you'll then crouch down and coral clean there. So when you're walking out, there's lots of rocks, corals, urchins, things like that. So good quality reef shoes with a proper rubber base are essential. You'll use them every day. It's Kenya, it's hot, it's sweaty. You guys will need quite thin clothing. Things that will dry fast is very helpful. Always a horrible one to bring up, but girls in particular, especially when you're out in the communities, you need to be really conscious of what you're wearing. So t-shirts is absolutely fine, shorts is absolutely fine, but just bear in mind when you're packing that when you're going into the community, you need to be covered up. A lot of the area is Muslim, and it's just simple respect. At Pope, where you live, Bahari High, fine, bikinis, easy peasy. It's just when you're leaving the site and you're going into other places. It's not a big deal. No one ever makes a big deal out of it. It's just something to bear in mind once you are packing. Trainers wise, shoes wise, 3 pairs is all you really need. A pair of trainers that you don't mind getting mucky, maybe some cement, some paint, stuff like that, old trashy trainers. Your reef shoes and flip-flops. You don't need fancy shoes. You don't need nice trainers. They won't stay nice. In Kenya, this applies to shoes and clothes. Kenya is famous for having very red soil. This soil stains everything. Anything white, it will stain. So don't take anything expensive, anything that you really care about. If you are taking white shirts, be mindful that if you sweat whilst wearing them and there's dust, it will stain. So as a general rule of thumb, of course, if you want to take nice evening clothes, that's fine, that's different. But when you're out volunteering or out cycling on safari, white is a no-go. It will not stay white. For washing will be included whilst you're there. We recommend that you would leave a tip at the end of your trip, but that's an overall thank you tip, as in thank you to all the staff for looking out to you. So washing is technically included. However, it's basic. A lot of it will be hand washed, so the ladies will hand wash it in a bucket for you. Or it will be in a machine and then hung up on washing lines. These washing lines, sometimes clothes come back with rust stains. So again, just be really mindful. I've had girls who've had very expensive tops and dresses stained. Just be mindful. It's not, you don't need to be wearing expensive clothes, and chances are they won't come back looking as pretty. So just a top tip. Evenings, mosquitoes. So as I'm sure you know, there are lots of mosquitoes in Kenya. They can carry malaria and they can carry dengue fever. The best protection from both of those is prevention. So the best way to stop yourself from catching any horrible bug from mosquitoes is prevention. So in the evenings, bear in mind some long trousers, long linen trousers are perfect. Things like Tom's trunks. M&S has got loads of really nice linen ones at the moment, just something that your legs are covered. Long shirts is not as necessary. You might get a bit hot if you're wearing a long shirt. And then mozzie spray. Good mozzie spray is really important. DEET, you should be looking at DEET ones. You can get lots of natural herbal ones. They aren't as effective, but if you're not comfortable using DEET, you can use them. You can now get really clever little stickers, mosquito repellent stickers as well, that are great. People like to put them on their bed or on their shoes. And then you can also get like elastic bands that have mozzie deterrent in them. Those are great. And then leading on from that, the really important thing is if you do get bitten, is the aftercare. So bring out with you some really good bite cream, more tubes than you think you'll need because you'll probably use them, and some antihistamines. If you can and have taken antihistamines before, they're really, really useful. They just bring down the itch, bring down the temperature, and hopefully you forget about them instantly. The problem is if you scratch them, because it's such a hot, humid climate, if you scratch them and open them up, that's then when you can get in trouble. So it's really important that you have your aftercare in place. That leads me on to medical. With your medical, we've given you a little first aid one. It's basically up to you. We're not doctors. These are just recommendations of what we've needed and what people in the past have needed. If you have any worries or any questions, do go and speak to your doctor, your GP. If you go into Boots, they have really good pharmacists. They're really helpful there. But basically just bring all the basics you think you'll need. Most people go home with all of them untouched. I'm sorry, parents, it's a bit of an expensive purchase. But anything just to cover any small bumps and grazes. Of course, our team out there has a full first aid kit, massive adventure first aid kit, and they are first aid trained. This stuff is just for you to look after any small cuts, grazes, bites, whatever it is. On the note of medical, like I said, our team are first aid trained. They will be able to deal with any small minor injuries. The next escalation, we are super lucky. The Pingo Bridge, who I was talking about earlier, they have an incredible 24/7-hour clinic. So if there is anything the team leaders can't deal with, they'll take you there. From there, if that's then something they can't see, an X-ray, if someone needs an X-ray, we've got Mombasa just down the road. So we do have all the levels of medical safety in place. So if you are worried about that, please don't worry. It's been risk assessed and checked the maximum, and everything is fine and it's in place. Worst case scenario, of course. Dehydration is really, really common. It is, like I said, a really hot climate, especially for anyone coming from England at this time of year. Your body's not used to the temperature, the sweating, the heat. So it's really, really useful to have rehydration, little rehydration pills or sachets you can pop in your water. For the first week or so, I would recommend having one a day, just at lunchtime before you go to bed, just to get your hydration levels back up. If you have had a particularly long day, take one then. Or one thing that catches out a lot of people is if you have a couple of drinks the night before, obviously that dehydrates you. If you then go and do a hot, sweaty day the next day, you are going to feel rubbish. So just looking after yourself, small little things like that, preparing so it doesn't happen, preventing something from happening. No one wants to get heat stroke. It's horrible. You feel rubbish. The program is so short, it's not worth it at all. Malaria tablets. Most of your GPs, all of your GPs, I would have thought have recommended you get malaria tablets. That's fine. That's great. Great to have them with you. They can be difficult. Some people don't agree with them. It doesn't make them feel very well. They feel faint. They feel dizzy. They feel sick. We've dealt with that before. Lots of people have, in fact, ended up not taking them. It's not a big deal. You can stop them at any point, but you just have to be more aware that you are then not covered from malaria. The area that you're in isn't a particularly common malaria area. They don't have many cases. It does happen. But again, like I said, the best way to prevent that is not getting bitten. So the leaders out there will monitor you. If you are feeling really rubbish, please don't worry. It's not the end of the world. Some people do come off the pills and it is fine. It's not a big deal. Is there anything else in that section? No, I don't think so. Awesome. Okay, extras, safari. I hope everyone is excited for safari. Safari is, and for a lot of you, it will be the highlight of the trip. It's incredible. Hopefully, some of you might have done a safari before. It is one of those holidays, I think everyone that has the option or has the possibility to do so should. It is incredible. It's this unbelievable sense of raw, wild freedom. What you will have is in the first week or second week, you will have a barbecue with a guy called Chris Angel. Now, Chris Angel is one of the best safari guides in Kenya. We've worked with him for years and years and years. He does all of our trips in safari in Tsavo, Masai Mara, wherever. He does everything. He's incredibly, incredibly knowledgeable, and he will give you a full briefing of the safari. He will talk you through it and talk you through the different options. So the options are 3 nights, 4 nights, or 5 nights. You guys can discuss as a group. Every single group I've had did 4 nights. It's the best value for money. You get to go to more locations, but it's totally up to you guys, and he will speak you through. speak through the options. I recommend budgeting about £500 to £600 for that safari. I've never had anyone that hasn't done it, but if you don't want to do it and you don't feel comfortable paying that, that's totally fine. You can stay at base camp with the other leaders. They'll give you stuff to do, maybe it be an extension of project work, but please don't worry if you think you might be that person. Scuba is the other optional add-on. This is scuba diving, so this is your PADI qualification. This costs around £500 as well, extra as well. It's a 4-day training course. So you'll spend first 2 days in the pool, and then you'll start either, depending on the tides and the season when you get out there, you'll either be doing creek dives or sea dives. This qualification is a lifelong qualification, so you can take it with you wherever you go in the world. If you don't dive for 2 years, obviously you need to do refreshers, but it's something that once you have it, you can dive anywhere. If anyone is already qualified, amazing. We can organise dives for you guys. The in-country leaders will sort that out. You can go off for a morning or an afternoon and go to do a dive. This is normally done in the first couple of weeks, and then when you get back from safari, if you want to add on optional recreational dives, you can do that. Spending money is the final money thing I have to talk about, and I would recommend, we normally recommend about £100 extra per week. All of your meals are included, breakfast, lunch and dinner, unless of course you choose to go out for dinner at the local beach bar or for pizza night or whatever it would be. All your dinners at camp have the option of being included. So if you don't want to eat out, that's fine. That will be included in what you've already paid. That £100 will cover the upper extreme of everything. The usual leaper will probably spend a lot less than that. So don't be alarmed by that number. That's just worst case scenario. And then, yeah, just to wrap it up. So you guys have signed on to a team travel trip, which is so exciting for so many reasons. It's so different to solo traveling. And I know right now you are all strangers, but I can promise you when I say by the end of it, you hopefully will have friends for life. I've seen so many people go through these trips. They now live together at university. They live together in London. So it's a really, really incredible opportunity to meet people that aren't necessarily in your current social bubble, that might be from all over the UK or even America. And because you are living together and working together, you get so close so quickly. And what's so nice about team travel is you have that support network. So you're all in the same boat. Most of you won't know each other. You'll turn up at Heathrow and probably feel absolutely terrified. But you're all in the same boat together, and it's so nice that you can all support each other through this journey. At Bahari High, it's a home away from home. So everyone that leaves always wants to go back. They never want to leave. Leaving day is always very, very upsetting. So you just have to bear with the homesick, bear with the discomfort for the first day or two, and then you'll be absolutely flying. And so worth it. Embrace the challenge. It's not a 5-star holiday. There are going to be moments where you think, God, I'm a bit out of my comfort zone here. This is pushing me. This is pushing my boundaries. But that's all part of the experience. And every one of you will have one of those moments. And it could be something ranging from snorkeling. Maybe you're not that confident in the sea, or it could be doing the cycling on the safari that you don't feel up to that challenge. Everyone will be different, but everyone can support each other through each different one. So accept the challenge. I always say to the groups that you only get out what you put in. So as much as you put into the trip, you will get out tenfold. If you go out there with an open mind and you're ready to try anything, you're ready to do new things and volunteer and meet new people in new communities, you will be rewarded tenfold. And it can be scary and it can be really daunting, but it is so worth it. When it comes to this trip, you have signed up to a volunteer program. So there is going to be volunteering. Sometimes people are surprised. There is volunteering. You are going to have to work quite hard at some points, but hopefully you will be rewarded and you will feel a huge sense of achievement, and that it will be really, really worth it. So I've just got a notification. I've got 10 minutes left. That's fine. That's doable. What was I saying? But yeah, everything that you may be scared of, it will honestly push you to enjoy the experience more. So hold your nerve. You will be fine. You've got each other. You've got the leaders. That's what the setup is all there for.
Lizzie,
yes.
Could I just ask a quick question?
Of course.
Just to going back to the snorkeling, and I'm sure there's been an experience of fearfulness.
Mm-hmm.
in the past, and I just wondered if you could talk a little bit more about how that's dealt with, that fear, some slight fear of the sea and
Of course, totally,
snorkeling.
easily peasy.
Thank you.
So the joy of where you are snorkeling, so you are snorkeling inside a reef. Um, the reef runs along basically the entire coast of Kenya. So up until about, I'd say, 300 meters out is shallow, shallow water. Of course, there's still tides, but you will only ever be snorkeling at low tide, which means this whole reef, the first 300 meters where you're swimming in, will only really be waist depth. So at all points when you are snorkeling, you can just stand up. So if there's a moment where you feel overwhelmed and something's worrying you, instantly you can stand up and you are back on ground level, 2 steady feet on the floor. Snorkeling can, some people, it can be overwhelming. It's a new experience. But all of our guides are super experienced. They will be there with you every step of it. And hopefully the team, of course, can support as well. But it is something that you will get used to very quickly. And if it's not something that you feel comfortable with after you've tried a couple of times, that's fine as well. There are some times where you can't push through it and it's enough is enough. And of course, in that situation, we would then find alternative ways of you to get involved in marine stuff, maybe different activities based on the beach, whatever it is. They've seen it before, they can deal with it. We've had lots of school trips recently, so that's been people ranging from 12 years up to 17. So a lot of the younger kids were the exact same. They'd never snorkel, they were a bit scared of the sea. But because of being in this reef, you're in this little safety bubble where you will be totally fine.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. My final point, and then we'll jump into questions from anyone else, is managing expectations and behaviour. So I've kind of touched on expectations a bit. It is a volunteer trip. You will volunteer. It's going to be hot. It's going to be sweaty. When it comes to behaviour, you guys are adults. You're all 18. We and our team here in the UK and the team in Kenya aren't there to be your teachers. You've left school. They're not there to be your parents either. They're just there to provide this experience we put together, this amazing experience of volunteering and fun and adventure. They don't want to have to act as a parent or a teacher. That's not fun. They want to enjoy it with you. They don't want to have to be nagging you or telling you off. So we treat you, and the leaders will treat you as adults, and they will give you all the respect that you deserve. We just ask that you use that wisely. Things like drinking, you're not there to drink. If you wanted to drink, you would go on a solo travel trip to Thailand. Of course, there'll be times where you can go out and have a few cocktails and enjoy yourself and let your hair down. But because you signed up to a project, the project takes priority. So we really, really ask that that doesn't become a distraction. And of course, the leader will monitor that and keep an eye on that. If you guys are causing difficulties, let's say, one way or another, of course, Joseph and Juma will deal with it in country to the best of their ability. We work on a 3-strike basis, and it's not a fun conversation to have, but I have to say it now and then you're aware. 3-strike basis. So Joseph and Juma is number 1. The next level is one of us from the team here in the UK. You might get quite a stroppy email from me or Millie saying, get your shit together, this is not okay. And then third and final strike is sent home. We don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen, of course, obviously, but just so you're aware, that is how we work. Don't be the person that brings it down for everyone, ruins it for everyone else. It's not worth it. And there's so much fun to be had. It's not necessary. Yeah, I think that's everything from me. So any questions from you guys about anything I've said, anything I haven't said, anything that you want answered, covered?
Yeah, can I just ask about visas?
Yes.
So does everyone need a visa? Or...
Yes. If you're a UK resident, you will need a visa. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
That's all right.
Can I also just ask, is there a WhatsApp group? Because I'm not sure
There
that
should be. If you're not added to it, drop me an email and I'll pop
Okay.
that straight after.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
That's right. Any other questions from anyone?
I know this might be a stupid question, but it's all like DV bags. It's not suitcases or anything like that.
Great question. So no, because your bags at points might be loaded up onto a bus, it might be on the roof or something. we ask that everyone brings either rucksacks or duffel bags, so soft shell bags so they can be squished and packed away. Don't panic about bringing a rucksack. Sometimes people think, oh my God, it's going to be so heavy. How am I going to carry it? Honestly, you don't have to carry it at all. Basically, all you have to do is get it from England to Kenya, so the airport parts, and then from the car park to your bedroom. Other than that, you don't need to carry it long distances. On that note, though, that's a really good point for rucksacks. I'd recommend everyone brings a day pack, something that can fit your snorkel or your reef shoes in. And then also when you go on safari, you won't need to take your big bag. You can just squash it all into a small bag. That's really useful. And then a little beach bag, a tote bag, something to chuck a book and a pair of sunglasses in as well.
Perfect, thank you.
That's all right. Any other questions? No. Great. Okay. Well, if you have questions that you don't want to ask to everyone, that's fine. Just drop me an email. I should be able to answer any of them. But in the meantime, I need anyone else's flight information. I'm missing, I think, 3 or 4 people. So if you know you're one of them, just drop me an email with the flight information and I will upload that. T-shirts, My Leap section, all of that. If you haven't filled out your My Leap, please do, and then we'll post your T-shirt as soon as possible. And then you guys, just a little advanced warning, you currently have My Leap on our website. We are days, weeks, days, hours away from launching a brand new website. So My Leap is going to disappear. Please don't panic. We've stored all your information already. That's why we've been pushing you to give us the information so we can put it into our system before the website changes. Please don't panic, don't freak out. It's still us, we're still here. We're just brand new website, brand new layout. But hopefully it shouldn't affect you too much because we've already got all the information that we need to get. If there is stuff that you feel has been missed or you haven't given us and My Leap disappears, just email it to us and we'll get it that way. Okay. I think that's everything from me. Zoe, yeah, my lovely colleague. Anything else you need?
No, you've done all my My Leap nagging. Thank you. Okay, just anyone left to pay the balance, please do.
Ah, yes, that is a good point. I haven't said that. Anyone who hasn't paid their balance, please do. I don't think that's many of you now. I think most of you are all ready to go. Just a last few balances. Great. Well, if there's no other questions, I will end the meeting. You've got my email, you've got the WhatsApp. Get in touch with us any way you need. And I hope you guys have an amazing time. I am incredibly jealous. I know what you've got in store, which makes me even more jealous, but you're going to have the best time ever. And we'll be following along. Parents, any parents in here, I'm not sure, maybe, we will be sending out weekly emails, reports of everything they've done that week, any little highlights, just a summary of the week. And then we will also be posting on our Facebook groups. We'll send you a link out to that, which will be photos, so about 15 to 20 photos a week of the team. And then we'll also be posting on our Instagram. So if you want to follow along from home, from England, that's the best way to do it. Okay, well, I hope you guys have a great day. And like I said, if you need anything, let me know and I will be here for any questions.
Can we get the recording even if we're on?
Of course. So what we'll do is I've recorded this. I will post it. We'll post it on YouTube and then send you guys the link sometime either this afternoon or tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I've also got some notes that I can send you, which basically covers everything I've said, but maybe sometimes easier to read it when it's written down. All right, thanks guys. Speak soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.